Yo, what's up everybody? We're back for another 626 Hertz video. So, I had just got done playing the Pokemon Indigo Disc DLC. So, this is pretty much like my raw reaction. This is going to contain spoilers, so if you guys don't want any spoilers, click off now, please. Finish the game first before you hear what I have to say, or if you want to hear what I have to say, then by all means that's cool too, because I'm going over pretty much the majority of the game, not just this DLC alone. Alright, so 3, 2, 1, show's on. So, I'm giving this game a 6 out of 10 in totality. This game, I feel like, completely left me unfulfilled in terms of what, Pokemon as an experience should be. Just going off something quick real fast, the frame rate is still an issue. I have tried everything to change settings in order to make the frame rate hopefully better. Nothing really seems to be working, whether if it's in handheld mode or TV mode. It's still as much of an issue as it was today as it was in the first day it released. That really takes a majority of the experience away from me having that much fun. I made a little list of stuff, so if I'm like looking over here, I'm just looking at my phone because I have notes typed out. I wanted to go into this with like a little bit of something, but not just blind. So, the frame rate being my one major issue. They did not put enough care into this game. I feel like they put more care into like the story than the actual gameplay itself, because I feel like the story was good. I don't think the story was bad. This is probably one of the better stories of Pokemon. I mean, just the Arvin stuff alone was huge. I feel like they actually gave characters character development, and I know you couldn't really do that in 8-bit, but the story was really good, so I'll give the story a lot of credit. Story was good. In terms of Pokemon, right? And I'm saying this as like not. I'm trying to. It's weird for me to explain, but so in terms of Pokemon created for the new game. This is not, to me at least, this is not including old Pokemon or old forms of Pokemon. This is just talking new Pokemon, brand new ideas. It feels like they kind of were running out of ideas. That might be a stretch for me to say. It might be unfair for me to say. But X and Y was the game with the least amount of Pokemon added into the game. I'm now positive this is number 1. In terms of Pokemon being put into the game, new Pokemon, new designed Pokemon. I'm not talking Mega forms. I'm not talking Galarian and Alolan forms. I'm talking straight up brand new Pokemon. You have 9 off the bat with the starters, so that's a large portion of the new Pokemon coming into the game for a game that only has 72 new Pokemon, 71 new Pokemon added to the game. So that's a whole other issue. I feel like the creativity for the Pokemon weren't there. Granted, there's some Pokemon that are greatly designed, like the Tinkatink line. I think that is actually a really good line in terms of something being new. The starters, I don't hate them. I'm not a fan of them. I don't hate them. I do like them more than last gen starters. I will say that. I do like them more than the Galar starters, so I will give them that. The Elite Four, the original Elite Four, I'm not talking about the Indigo Disc Elite Four. The original Elite Four, Gita's Ace is a level 62. That is nothing. Like, I know it's been that way for the longest time. It's always been that way. It's not, like, it's really only been that way where the Ace Pokemon, the final Pokemon that you beat in the game before you start all the after stuff, is a level 62. Like, we really, the levels have to get pumped up, and it shouldn't take a DLC in order for you, a DLC, actually, let me rephrase that, a DLC a year later to pump the levels up to level 80. There's no excuse. There's 100 levels in the game for a reason. You can maximize the levels instead of scaling them all the way down and then making them incredibly harder in the DLC. It's just, there's no point, especially a year later. It should not have taken a year for the DLC to come out. Complete botch job by them. this DLC should have been out in the summertime. The first DLC should have been out maybe 3 months after the game's initial release, so that would have put it in February. And then this DLC should have come out in the summertime. It should not have been 1 full year plus later from the game's initial release. It shouldn't have done that. I feel like that was a terrible decision on their part. That could have been way better, and it could have been way more justified. The reason why I feel like they did it this way is because we didn't get a Pokemon game this year, so it makes a lot of sense. And I think after they said the initial release date was going to be winter of 2023, I feel like we all who keep up in the loop as much as we do, who play all these games nonstop. And if you're watching this, you're probably in that category of people. But once they said it was going to be 2023 winter, that should have been the ultimate indicator that we weren't getting a Pokemon game this year, and we didn't get one this year. The next games, and this is all speculation because they could just come out with a new one, which I think if they do, it's a terrible idea to come out with it right now. All speculation indicates that it will be the Black and White remakes, because every other one we get a remake, so why not continue with this trend? So we're due for the Black and White remakes. That'll be the next games, most likely, whether if they do like a Legends version of it, but Black and White, something will be represented in those next games. So from the time this game initially released to the time the next main game releases, it would be 3 years. The year after the initial release, which is the DLC, the Black and White year, and then the year the next game is supposed to release. So that's a whole other topic of discussion. That's most likely what is going to happen. I feel it in my bones, just being a fan for as long as I've been. I feel like that will be the route it ends up going. And then by that point in time, do we have a new Nintendo console? Because I hate to say it, but let's be real, they're gonna make a new Nintendo console at some point, whether if it's this year, next year, the year after. It's coming. At some point, it will be coming. I'm incredibly disappointed with the Paradox Pokemon. I love them. I think they're very cool, but there was not enough done with them. I feel like there should have been more for the Paradox Mons instead of them releasing 2 of them in Terra raids. There should have been there is so much they could have expanded on that I feel like the Indigo Disc didn't. That could have been, put out more. So I feel like they kind of flopped on that. I'm just looking over my notes here, but in overall totality, I don't know really what to say anymore for Pokemon. Obviously, I'll still play the games. I'll still buy the DLCs just because I'm a fan. I've been a fan my entire life, practically. I really do think in my heart that if these next games aren't, if it's more frame rate issues in the next games, I feel like a lot of people are going to be really disheartened to play these games anymore. I obviously will still play it. I'm pretty sure the majority of the hardcore fan base will still play it no matter what. People will probably casually play it until they get annoyed. But yeah, this next one coming out, I feel like they really have to full force go all out in terms of a make or break kind of game. And that could be unfair of me to say, but I feel like that's just in my eyes, that's the truth. It's just, this game, in terms of its performance, was very lackluster, and there was nothing desirable about the frame rate in this game. That pretty much ruined a lot of the fun for me, because when the game first starts, right, you see this great shot of Miraidon or Koraidon, whatever game you picked, flying in. It looks beautiful, right? And then as soon as you get to the main portion, the big area where you can start spinning around and all that, it just takes a nosedive. In Black and White, whatever they do with those remakes, it'll probably look a lot better because it's less moving. You're probably going to have to do. But, I guess until we get to that point, what else can we really do or say? I would imagine the next, I would say maybe like the idea of the next game will probably come out in the next 3 to 4 months. They're going to probably announce it at some point in the springtime just to get the hype ready for November. And then, we'll have a brand new set of Pokemon, remakes, because that's probably what they're going to do. And if Pokemon is smart, they will do it that way, because you should not release this gen and then the next gen right after. There has to be the buffer. It needs that time buffer. You know, it needs the development time. It really is going to need, because if this is the route that Pokemon's going to go, where they're trying to make it look a little more realistic for what Pokemon could be, they need to take more time on it. My last and final beef with the games, and I understand it wholeheartedly, but it kind of sucks, is that I shouldn't have to pay $34 to get my favorite Pokemon in the game. I know, it's old. It's an old topic of discussion. It happened with the last games. You know, they're giving us all the legendaries again. I feel like it's every 2 years we get access to all the legendaries, which is cool, but still, like, you know, we're going. I'm trying to think when was the last time we could get all the legendaries. I mean, maybe, I know Alpha Sapphire, I'm pretty sure last game, I didn't really play the DLC all that much in the last one, so that's on me. If you can get all the legendaries, or a majority of them in the last game, then that's my bad, but still, they really do need to put some work into this next game. Like I said, I don't know if I said it in this video earlier, my rating for the entirety of the game is a 6 out of 10. I'm not a fan of the DLCs. I thought they weren't cool. I did not like them. They left a lot to be desired. If you guys have any comments, speculations, anything whatsoever in the comments, please let me know. Let me know if there's anything that you guys are thinking yourself, or if you guys want to just kind of vent about, you know, the state of Pokemon. By all means, go for it. I'll be reacting to comments as they come in. So thanks, guys. I'll see you. Bye.